A lot of people consider it the planet's first city. As you know from Leo's lecture, it was missing some key markers of a city, such as division of labor. And here we are on the inside. Here I am standing in front of the first site, which appears to be the most well dug out also. As you'll see in this site, there are what were probably ovens and or storage spaces that are marked and very well dug. So we're standing in front of Building 5, and I'll give you some of the literature here. It's saying that house demolition was very structured and often involved the ritualistic-like burial of objects. As you can see, all of the different layers here. Apparently, some of these buildings, some of these homes have as many as 64 layers, and others have none. Let's see. I'm sorry, not layers. Bodies. Excuse me. Some have as many as 64 bodies buried in the floors, and others have none. And this is an image of 2 sheep horns they found. And apparently there was a clay ball placed in between the 2 horns. They're thinking it was deliberate. And these clay balls are what you saw in the visitor center. They were thought to have been used in cooking. After being heated in the fire, they'd be placed in a cooking pot with water and meat or vegetables. Now, I'm going to show you the house plan for Building 5. I'm going to walk and give you a brief overview of the rest of the site, though, again, that appears to be the most well dug out house. These others are in various stages of completion. And again, this project has been ongoing since the 50s, and thinking about digging out one of those ovens, you can only imagine, the man hours that have to go into digging out even a single layer. But they wanted to dig here because they usually find more things in burned buildings. And apparently this building ended up ending its life in a big fire. And it says that you can see traces of the fire on the walls. So maybe here in this top layer it looks a bit gray, possibly there. We're seeing evidence of, smoke damage, fire damage. And apparently they don't know yet whether the burning was an accident. Some members of the team think the houses were intentionally burned. And this fire might have been a way of kind of ritualistically, closing the house so that a new one could be built on top of it. So right here we're looking at the main room of this house, and against the far wall are the remains of the ladder and oven. I almost get a sense of like an Indiana Jones walkway here. Of course, without the death-defying heights and alligators underneath. Crocodiles. Thank God. Oh, now on this wall, looks like we're getting to see some artwork. So something similar to one of the panels that we saw in the guest center with the red shading. Now here we are in front of Building 52. Well, let's see, I'm looking for, there's a sign that says there is a bull's head in its original position somewhere over on the north wall, or the wall on the right. Let's see. I'm going to zoom in here, and hopefully you can see it. I don't have a clear image of where it might be. That's too bad. So apparently, most of these rooms have double walls. Each house had its own 4 walls, but they were built very close together, so they doubled up. Okay, I'll see you at the south building. So here I am on the hill right above the south side. Big, beautiful mountains in the background, cloud covered. And then, for the very exciting part, we have pottery shards all along this path. That's a shard. And this is a shard. So many of the rocks you see here actually are pottery shards. Look at how smooth the outside was. It was pottery that was burned in the fire. And here has some shards of different colors. It's a reddish pot. Look at the edge, how finely it's worked. This must have been a bowl or a cup. Judging by how well, that outer edge is worked, it could have very well have been a cup. I'm going to come out just a little bit so that you can see this again. Wow, so many of these pieces that you're looking at are shards. This one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Over here, we have another red piece. This is kind of a yellowish piece. That might have been part of a wall or something thicker. It's not quite as smooth on the outside, and it's very thick. Oh, wow, look at that. If you just take a look, I'm sure you can pick out right now all of the different pieces and colors. This one here, look at how red. Here's another piece that has a very definite edge. That must have been a plate or a bowl. I guess this really does tell us how much they had found here. I mean, if they're just able and willing to leave all of these pieces scattered along the walkway. Look at this beautiful multicolored piece. That looks like it was, fire burned. Now here we are coming onto the south side. Coming in, this is where you'll find the Indiana Jones death-defying heights. This is absolutely wild. This gives you an impression of how far down this goes. I want you to get a sense of the height here, which again is really amazing. I mean, the levels and the layers. Zoom in a little bit so you can see some detail. Yeah, that gives you a really good idea of, again, all of the multiple layers one on top of the other. Truly beautiful. Can you hear that noise? There's a lot of, wind cracking up above. And again, remember, there were no doors on any of these buildings, and so people entered from the roofs. Entering about midway into the building. Let's see. I'm not going to walk around very much because I don't want to ruin the work these guys are doing here by stepping on something I shouldn't. But from here, zoom out, and you can see completely new layers of detail on this wall. It looks like we've got a little bit of artwork coming out right over here. And in the middle, that possibly was a stove or an oven. or they could also be the beginnings of burial excavations. Let's walk around quickly to the next layer. Okay, now here we are. This last layer, and it looks like we can come down the path. Let's see. This looks pretty intense. Obviously modern. Modern systems set up to hold the walls in place as they're digging out. You can see all the different layers. To give you an idea of how far we've come, this is how far down we got. So that's Çatalhöyük, almost 9,500 years old, 376 generations ago. Central Plains of Turkey, September 2013. So although you do not get an archaeologist this time around, we were invited in for tea. So I'm walking in right now to the guardhouse. And there are 3 different guards here at Çatalhöyük. Take turns. This is their house where they've invited me in for tea. And this is Husan,
yes,
who is working
hello.
today, and Ahmed,
Hello.
his friend, and Mustafa, who's been here for about 21 years. So thank you from UCLA, guys. Okay.